everyone here and welcome. Whoops, get that straightened out. I know I got my bright orange shirt on today because the grandkids are in town. We're going to the beach and we'll see how that goes. Today we have a great virtue, one to focus on in all parts of our life, and that the virtue that came up for us today was decisiveness. So let's read the description first, and then we'll talk about it a little bit. Decisiveness is firmness of mind in taking a stand or making a decision. It requires us to be both courageous and discerning. At times a choice appears, and we must make it instantly, without hesitation, prompted by a deep knowing that it is right and timely. Decisiveness can also call us to hold a decision with patience, prayer, and deep contemplation. We seek a pure intent which guides us to a conclusion we can trust. Then one day we reach the bedrock of truth and know it is time to act. We move forward with resolve and confidence. Being decisive, we are content with our decisions and do not second guess ourselves. The timing of a good decision is just divine. So I love this word, and I will tell you that when it came up and I saw it, the first thing I was thinking about today was how frustrating it is when you have someone who just won't make a decision. So you know, and I include myself in on this because I found myself sometimes saying, I don't know, I don't care, it's okay, whatever, what do you want? You know, and those kinds of things are not very decisive, and they can be frustrating to the other person. I know, because when it happens to me, that's exactly how I feel. It's like, make a decision, you know. So decisiveness in little things like that, you know, whether it's, you know, what you're having for a meal or whatever, the reason that it's important to be decisive in those areas is it helps us to build the deciding muscles of ourselves into something strong so that we can make better decisions later on. And so how do we make those decisions? Well, we make them based on, you know, what we believe, what our values are. And sometimes those things are very easy and we can make it very quickly. And other times we have to balance, you know, a lot of different things. And so, you know, I find that for me, not going into making a decision very, very quickly is kind of a pattern that I have, and I like it, though at times I wish that I was able to make those and would make them more quickly. But you know, it's you know, when we're making a decision, to take that time to contemplate, or to look at all sides of it, or to be sure that we're living in and making choices based on our values is an important thing, and it's important for our children to learn how to do that. It's also important to understand that when we make a decision that we're going to stick with it, and that until it's proven as a bad decision, right? But if we make a choice about some things, then, you know, we have to live with that choice, you know, and the consequences of it, whether, you know, they're good or bad. And thinking about that, especially with having the grandkids around this week. And honestly, I don't think this has come up this week, but, you know, I've seen it in other kids where, you know, they will make a choice. You ask them if, you know, we always try to give our kids choices, right? Because that's a way of helping them to strengthen their ability to make decisions. But we give them a choice. Do you want chocolate or do you want vanilla ice cream? Well, I want chocolate ice cream. And then when the chocolate ice cream arrives, then they go, I want vanilla. And so how do we handle that as a parent? Well, we have to be sure that when they have to understand that when they make a decision, when they make a choice, that there are consequences in that. And so you've bought the chocolate ice cream for them, and then that's what they, you know, that's what they get. That's what they need to have. Even though it's hard to watch them not be satisfied or whatever, but we don't want them to get into the habit of making choices and then not sticking with them. Why do I say that? Well, later in life, as they get a little bit older, they may make a choice to join a sports team, and they get into the game and they decide they don't like it. Well, they've made a commitment to their teammates to be there for them for their practices and to be there 100% for them during their games. And so we don't want them to learn this, to learn to not to take commitments seriously. So decisions and commitments, all of these things come together, and certainly when, as an adult, we know that when we make decisions that there are consequences, and sometimes we like them and sometimes we don't like them, but it's what we've chosen. I would also just like to say this about parenting, and that is that when we're parenting, a lot of times we make decisions and we're not 100% sure. I hear parents all the time, if I do this or if I do that, am I a good parent or am I a bad parent? And I just don't believe in that. I believe that you have to be patient and contemplate, reflect, decide based on your values, and then go with it, right? And have confidence in it. If you don't have that confidence in the decision that you've made and you move forward with it, if you're constantly looking over your shoulder to see what other people are thinking, this is a habit and a way of being that's going to be passed down to our kids. And who are they going to look at? They're going to look at the media. They're going to look at their friends to try and decide whether the decision that they made is good for them. So they're looking at all these external forces when we want them to make their decisions just like us from inside, our internal choices based on our values, the virtues that are so important to us, and the way that we want to be. And we recognize that decisions that we make are choices, really, right? We're making choices about the way we're going to behave, the way we're going to respond to whatever the circumstances are. So today, as I look at this virtue of decisiveness, I want to practice not saying I don't know, or I don't care, or you decide. I want to be more decisive, and I want to be able to do it. And sometimes some of the things that I take a long time on deciding, don't need they just don't need long reflection periods, right? It could be, what do you want to do for dinner? It is not a long reflective piece, okay? So we can make those a little bit more quickly, and that is something that I really want to work on for myself. So that's my thoughts today on decision making and decisiveness. And I look forward to practicing that today. So thank you very much for being here. And as always, as we go through the day, focus on the virtues of each other. Acknowledge them in those that you see. If you see respect being shown, acknowledge it in your children and in yourself and in others. And that acknowledgement will encourage them to continue to grow that and develop that virtue in themselves. And so until next time, keep practicing the virtues and the 4 C's of successful families, and that is clarity, communication, consistency, and community. Until next time, bye.